Project North Star's a grassroots initiative. It's a team of 26 young professionals from technology consultants in Orlando to MBA graduates in South Africa, it's strategy consultants in London, and lawyers in Dubai. So it's about these 26 young professionals globally stepping forward and saying one day we will inherit this community and we want to make sure that it continues to be positioned for success and builds upon the work of our fathers and forefathers. Project North Star is about where the community is going over the next 10 years. It's specifically looking at the World Federation, but the World Federation is just a collective of communities, it's just a collective of people. And ultimately it's trying to figure out where is this family, where do they want to be in 10 years' time, and how do we drive them towards that? I think that's why it's important, because it's about moving our family collectively forward so that in 10 years' time we can look back and say we know where we were and we can see that we've made something different.
It's also, I guess, the World Federation is a fantastic organisation, has such rich history, and it has done an amazing amount to get to this stage, and it's now trying to say, right, reflect back on what has made it successful historically, and how can we then empower people to take it to the next level in the future. So learning from what we've already achieved and then taking the next step in its progress, in its journey.
One thing which the team has done, and one of the aims of this was actually to get a sense as to what the global community is thinking. So obviously, as part of that, we've done surveys and we've gone around to different communities in the world and to actually understand their thoughts. And this hasn't happened for a long time, and it's something which, alhamdulillah, the project has managed to achieve so far.
This collective of 150,000 grassroots, they're family. And it's our responsibility to make sure our family is well positioned. Ultimately, the way I was always brought up was, on the day of judgment, I know I will be held accountable for what I did with the skill sets I have, the understandings that I have. And if I can stand there and say I use that to try and help my family move forward, I think that's a good answer. One of the things one of the members of staff told us is that in their history being a member of this community, they've never seen a project that's engaged everyone from community members in Melbourne to Orlando to Ahmedabad to Karachi to Dar es Salaam and all over the world into the same initiative to get their viewpoints to find out how we drive forward. I think that's the biggest success for Project North Star. It's engaged our global community and brought them into the discussion.
As a community and as a global organization, we have to ask ourselves, are we truly efficient? Are we truly fit for purpose? And is our organization nimble enough to meet the challenges of the 22nd century? And if the answer is that yes or maybe, or we need to look at it, that is where the birth of Project North Star comes about. It is an initiation of a project by the professionals of our community to ensure that the community's global organization is fit for purpose and is actually meeting the challenges of its community in this generation and the generation after.
A lot of the work that we've done to date is about listening and very much giving the voice to the grassroots to say, this is your organisation, and it's for you, it's on you to then take it forward to its for the next 10 years.
One of the key things has been data. So obviously through all these interactions we've got a lot of data. And in my consulting career, one of the mottos in my previous firm was, everything can be measured, and what is measured is managed. I think the more we can measure what our community is thinking and doing, the more we can manage its future going forward. So across different communities, we've presented the insights from the surveys plus our analysis of the situation. And so we've looked at things like, what are the concerns of the individuals within the community? What are the concerns they have about the community? What are the things they do on a daily basis in terms of the wajibat? And the feedback from that has been very positive. A lot of scholars within the community as well as leaders within the community have seen these results and has said it has helped them to make decisions, and from that they've actually taken on board those recommendations and are starting their own projects within their Jamaats.
I just came back from presenting in Mumbai. We were there in August last year, and we went to Mumbai, Sangli and Ahmedabad to present to over 100 different grassroots members. And one of the things we did with them was several workshops to try and figure out what are their key concerns, what are their visions going forward, and what are the values they want this organization to represent. One of the best lines we had was from a girl in Sangli Jamaat who stood up and she said, in 10 years' time, when the Prime Minister of India says he wants a doctor, the first thing he'll do is think, I want a doctor from this community because I recognize their excellence. When he says, I want an engineer, he'll say, I want an engineer from this community because I recognize their spirit. When he says, I want a lawyer, he'll say, I want a lawyer from this community because I trust them. That line, that vision, that aspiration is something that we've seen echoed from every community we've gone to. We presented to the Dongri community in Mumbai in August last year, and one of the things that we saw was a lot of disillusionment in the community, not just towards their local Jamaat, but towards their region and towards the World Federation. What I didn't know was, after the session, a few of those youth approached the Jamaat and told them that we want to get more involved. We've been inspired by what we heard. They started a project. They recommended doing a project to the Jamaat. The Jamaat said, yeah, we'll support you the whole way. What that team of youth are doing now is they're engaged with government agencies and NGOs. They've engaged with 300 so far to find what types of funding, resources, or opportunities they can tap into for their local community. Regardless of what PNS is doing, the idea that we've sparked that type of engagement from the younger generation to start stepping into those leadership roles and in future guide our community forward, that's, for me, inspiring. One of the things I admire about the World Federation bringing this project on is how much trust they put in a team of young professionals to help guide the community forward. It's always hard when you work in an organization. Well, we all see this on client sites. When you work so hard for something, to let it go to someone else and let them guide the reins forward is a very difficult decision to make. But from the World Federation, this project, they've given us so much scope and trust that it's, I don't know what the word is.
You know, hopefully there's a lot of tangible benefits and positives that will come out from this project, inshallah. But I think there is perhaps a revision in the way that projects are approached and the mindset that goes in. One of the things as an example is how valuable and powerful data is, and gathering data and recording data. I mean, the records and the data that we have as a community is, you know, very limited. But also, if we start to move as a community, as a unified body, there is so much more we can achieve as a collective. You know, whether it's through our purchasing power, or through our procurement, or through efficiencies, or through the mass resource base that we have of very passionate individuals. But I think generally, I mean, you know, there is one reassurance to take away, which is that we are, wherever you go in the world, we are one global community, and that is echoed by every corner of the globe. And that is, you know, a little bit reassuring. Now, how do we then take that and see that as an opportunity and not just let it pass?
Inspiring. I think that's what the word is.